Hello and welcome. Um, so you may have found yourself here because you are currently curious about what I'm launching soon, which is called the Alignment Program. And we probably know each other in some sort of way, or maybe not, or by some wild, miraculous universe, a magic way of being, you found me. And what I'm going to talk about and share about today is, in fact, the alignment program, kind of mostly about how it came to be, what it is. And at the end, of course, will be an invitation if you feel called for you to join in this experience too. But you get to hear about the story of what it is and how it came together um, before you even, to decide that. But before I get into the story, I just want to invite us to take the time to land in this space together. So, just really giving yourself a minute, okay, not a full minute, but some moment to arrive here and on your own time, letting yourself take 3 deep breaths and just releasing and letting go of all of the thoughts and all of the wildness that may be going on around you now. Giving yourself permission to just be here as we are in kind of conversation together. All right. And let's begin. So, yeah, let's start with, what even started the alignment program. Now, it wasn't something that I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to create this program. So, the story actually starts back like a few years ago. I decided to do this self governing challenge called 75 Hard. If you haven't heard of it yet, it's a pretty tough challenge that spans across of 75 days. And I mean, it is named for what it is. It was designed and meant to teach you about mental toughness and grit, um, doing the hard things, doing the really hard things, I'll tell you. And you can look it up for yourself. That sounds like something that you are looking for. I don't know if I said this yet, but I actually have done it twice in my life. But at the time, I did it because it showed up in my sphere, and I took a look at myself and realized that I wanted to break a pattern. And that pattern was that I didn't really finish things. I started a whole bunch of stuff and had a whole bunch of open loops. And so I went through that journey of doing 75 hard and I learned a lot. I learned about the thresholds of what I was actually capable of. Um, and that was really powerful. And a lot shifted for me actually through that time. But over the years, especially in my current state of being, um, I realized that, it doesn't have to be tough and it doesn't have to be gritty all the fucking time. And through that, I felt a sort sense of like some things were missing. Um, and I realized though, doing that challenge, that I like structure. And we actually all kind of need some sense of structure. Now, I'm not talking about being rigid. It has to be exactly the same every day. It's also learning to move in cycles and rhythms. But I mean, everything has a structure, right? Like, even like, I don't know, water molecules have some sort of structure. I'm sure I could be entirely wrong. Don't quote me on this, but gas probably has some sort of like structure, right? I don't know. Somebody correct me on that one. But in time, I basically birthed my own practice of structure that kept me in a rhythm. And um, that's how this program actually came to be, the alignment program. Um, and the original intention really wasn't to share it, it was just to give me a space to express the parts of the human experience. I just found that when I did these things, um, or just dedicated my attention to it, I just felt more rooted and centered and, dare I say, aligned, especially when, life was lifing. Um, yeah, I found that when I, kind of stayed devoted to that path, to the structure, the rhythm that I had basically created, I was able to handle life in a clearer way. Um, and then just in September or August of 2025, so this would be last summer, as of this recording, it's January, I don't know, 14th of 2026. And anyway, yeah, so last summer, the universe said, go on, girl, it's time to share it. And I was like, what the heck? Then I had to actually materialize this concept that I kind of had just been living. Um, mm, I mean, I could just say like making it up, right? Like this structure that I found for myself. Um, to anyway materialize this into something someone can understand of what it is. And it was crazy because the energy that came through to be able to create that in such a short period of time was really wild. I think I did it within like just a couple weeks. Um, and so, yeah, so I created it and then shared it, and people actually joined. I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea if anyone was even going to join, but I leaned into what the universe was showing me, God source universe, whatever you want to call it. And that's what happened. And in this group was 4 women. And so the 4 women joined this journey, and we journeyed for 45 days together, going through the alignment program, sharing our experiences. And by the end of it, when I got to hear their testimonials or what their experiences and how much they shifted through it, it was just incredible. And to be really honest, which feels so vulnerable for me, I had no idea how much this was actually going to help other people outside of me. Like, I knew what it does or what it did, what it does. I don't know. My English is like suddenly out the door. I knew what it did for me, and now seeing it over the span of 45 days and how it helped other women, I was just in so much awe. And somewhere, I want to say it's in my Instagram or something like that, there's testimonials of this, the first launch, the first round of the alignment program. So you can, do some homework and go find it yourself. I just don't have it here in front of me right now. Um, Anyway, so yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna do another round of the program. I thought maybe, okay, it's just this one-off time, but God source universe. So let's fucking go. Let's go again. So here we are, um, launching the alignment program again. We begin on January 18th. Like I said, I believe today is January 14th. And I'm going to leave doors open until about the 25th. And if you're like, well, I don't even know what it is, don't worry. I'm about to go into that um, right now. So, as far as the program goes and how it's like kind of structured, is that During this time when this was birthed through my own experience, I realized that there are aspects about us that make up the human experience, which later became known as what is now called the pillars in the alignment program, which you will get to hear about in a second here. And so now, if you're like, well, what is it then? What is the program then? So, okay, pay attention. It's a 45-day self led journey where you dedicate or devote at least 20 minutes of time, attention, or intention to each pillar every day. Additionally, you get bonus points, although, I mean, low key, no one's tracking. This is self led, if I go back to that. Um, Additionally, you get kind of little self extra credit points for drinking at least half of your body weight in ounces of water and adding in more whole foods to your daily nutrition, nourishment, whatever you want to call it, diet, whatever. Um, because honestly, hydration is good. No one's going to argue that. And adding more whole foods is going to be beneficial for your body and your being, and it's supportive. So now I'm going to go over each pillar so you kind of have an idea. Um, and these aren't in any particular order of importance. This is just how it's come up for me. So I'm just going to go with it and we're going to explain it that way. Okay. So the first pillar is the mind. And the mind is where most people try to fix everything and also where most people get stuck. And so in the alignment, the mind pillar is not just about positive thinking or mindset hacks. It's actually about the relationship with your thinking. In your mind, it's designed to observe, to process, to plan, and protect. It also loves information and it loves making meaning of things, putting things together, and it's a vital part of being human. So, when the mind is supported, it becomes clearer, steadier, and less reactive, really. And then when it's kind of ignored or overwhelmed, it tends to loop and spiral or just really take over all of your thoughts, right? So, the mind pillar gives the mind somewhere to land so that it can work with you and not against you. So we move on to the next pillar, which is the body. And the body is where life is actually lived. I mean, we came here in this on planet Earth, materialized as human beings in a physical body. Otherwise, we'd be just being like, spirits floating around on this planet. Maybe we are. I'm just kidding. Um, So most people actually don't feel connected from their body until they stop moving it, listening to it, or respecting its limits. Um, so in alignment, the body pillar is not about intensity, aesthetics, or pushing. This is about circulation and presence and consistency because movement helps thoughts move. It helps emotions move. It helps energy move because what the mind can't process, it stores in the body. And if the body is kept still, it's just going to build up in there. So when the body is included, things don't get stuck as easily, like mentally and emotionally. And so this pillar is about staying in conversation with your physical self instead of um, ignoring it or abandoning it until something hurts, right? Something really tells you to pay attention to the body. And the next pillar is the heart. So the heart is where meaning and emotion and truth live. And this pillar is about connection to yourself and to others, without bypassing or numbing or over intellectualizing like what you feel. Because in, our normal lives, for most of us here, especially here in the Bay Area, if you're here in the Bay Area, the heart often gets overridden by productivity, coping, survival, right? Like working all the time, having to get things done that we don't even give our space time to feel, really. So the alignment creates space for you to get to notice, what am I actually feeling? What matters to me right now? Where am I closed or guarded? So when the heart is acknowledged, people tend to feel more grounded, more honest, more themselves, more cared for, dare I say, more loved, even from within themselves. So the heart pillar is a pretty powerful pillar, although I did say it's not hierarchical. One doesn't matter more than the other. They actually all need each other. And then the final pillar, the spirit pillar. The spirit pillar is about remembrance, not of something outside of you, but something that's like larger than the daily noise. And so spirit can mean a number of things, and it can mean what it means to you. But it could be, God, source, the universe, nature, intuition, or just simply the sense that life is moving through you and that you are part of something intelligent and very much alive. Um, and I do also want to say this pillar is not about being like quote unquote spiritual in like a performative way. Um, this is really letting yourself align with that remembrance. Um, so when people are disconnected from spirit, life can feel really heavy or urgent or even meaningless. So this pillar brings you back into perspective, back into trust, back into the quiet knowing that you're held by something bigger than your to-do list. So those are the four pillars. Um, and I give more actual examples for what we can do for each focus of the pillars in the guidebook. So once you decide to join, you'll get the guidebook, and the guidebook goes into a little deeper detail. Um, for that. But yeah, so like how that all comes together with the alignment program is that it's not about fixing like one part of you. I feel like a lot of these things that are out there really only focus on maybe one or two things at a time. But I feel like you just still are left like something's missing. And so this helps bring all of those aspects of the human experience into relationship, right? So when the mind is supported, the body is included, the heart is acknowledged, the spirit is remembered, you feel steadier, clearer, and more like yourself. Um, because you're no longer fragmented in all of these different pieces and parts, right? And so actually, after this last round, I happened to stumble upon a book um, by Shaman Durek. I think that's how you say their name. And it's called Alchemy Elementals. It actually comes with like oracle cards as well, which is actually cool. It's a really beautiful um, book. And in this book, I happened to find that he also speaks of four pillars and a fifth element. And I was like, oh, this is very interesting. And now this might be a little too woo woo or weird, but if you know me, I'm all about that. I love it. I would just invite you to keep an open mind and heart. But I'm going to read to you what I found about what he said about the pillars. Okay, I have the book in front of me, and I would say he calls it the five pillars because it's four pillars, and all four together make the fifth one. Okay, so just so that it's not confusing, I hope. Okay, so I'm going to read from the book. And it says the five pillars represent the five bodies that comprise the human vessel, or what I call the biological spacesuit. A lot of people have been indoctrinated to think that the human being is basically just a body, a singular material vessel that holds blood and bones and guts and organs, and that's that. Except it's not that at all. The human vessel is actually comprised of multiple bodies that all affect one another on various levels. So, yes, there's the physical body, but there's also the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. And for those who have evolved to the point where they have integrated and harmonized all four bodies, there is what we shamans call the fifth element. While these pillars all serve different functions, no one is more important than the other, and they are all interdependent. None of that hierarchical nonsense that drives the system applies to nature or to our own biology. So, even though Western culture emphasizes the development of the mental body while ignoring the value of cultivating our emotional intelligence or our spiritual powers, shamans understand the function and importance of them all. To awaken your full potential as a superhuman and to empower others to do the same, you must develop all of these aspects of your human vessel and you must also harmonize them. This means learning how your mental body, which from my program would be the mind, coexists with your spiritual body, which would be spirit, how your emotional body, this is the heart, affects your physical body, and how all the bodies function together in an integrated way. This means synthesizing all five pillars and facilitating a healthy, conscious relationship between them. The five pillar cards are tools to illuminate which aspect of your personal journey and other cards you draw specifically relate to. Okay, so this is now talking about the cards that's in reference to this book here. So, yeah, that was from the book. I can probably link it somewhere, or you can ask me about it. I have no idea. Tech is not entirely my thing just yet. um, so yeah, that's the story of the alignment program. Like I said earlier, at the time of recording, it's January 14th. The program is set to start on January 18th, and I'll be keeping doors open until the 25th. There is an investment for it, and that is um, 111. And yeah, we will let you just let me know. I'm just kidding. Um, if you have questions or your curiosity has been piqued, I would love to answer any questions you have or thoughts you want to share, or even just like thoughts on this recording here today. This is kind of a new experience for me to record things and then put them out into the universe. So, with that said, I want to thank you for your time, for your presence, for your energy, for being here. Um, and even just your presence here is supporting this work in some way. But really, I would love to guide you. Oh, I forgot to mention when we do this journey, I do it with you. So I'm not just someone who's talking about this stuff. I'm going to go through the program with you. I'm going to be going into the experiences just as you are. I forgot to include that there will also be a guidebook and tracker that you'll receive when you decide to invest into it. You also will get access to a WhatsApp group where we can choose to be in community and support one another. And I'll be dropping in there weekly for reflections and check ins and support as well. Okay. So, yeah, so that being said, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. And that's gonna be a wrap.